All right, what's good, y'all? Rowan the Optimist. Shit, welcome to the channel and shit. I'm all cozy. I got my blankie. I'm cozy wozy in here. Hopefully you cozy too. But yeah, man, my name's Rowan. I'm a very passionate individual. I got a bunch of different interests. I got a bunch of different thoughts and stuff on my mind. So I'm like, shoot, let's make a channel. It's gonna be a grab bag. It's gonna be a bunch of stuff. Shoot. I guess something I'm mostly interested, at least right now, is different like theology and like Christianity and stuff. So basically, I was Christian. I was rocking Christian, but I have deconstructed probably in the past like 3 or 4 months or so. So yeah, we'll be talking about that type of stuff. Probably in the next video will be like reasons I've deconstructed or whatever, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about, I'll do general just like rants and stuff, all sorts of rants on a number of different topics, sociology type shit, you feel me? Maybe health type shit, I'm into health. Maybe different science concepts, who knows, different arguments. I'm into MBTI. I'm an INFP, if you can't tell. Yeah, we'll jump into MBTI, psychoanalysis, and yeah, man, we're gonna get popping on here. We're gonna get popping. It's gonna be lit. But here's the first video. But what better first video to make than Rowan the Optimist? Why am I an optimist? Kind of, or at least I think so. This could probably change. Everything is subject to change. I would say right now, yeah, I'm like mostly identify right now like I'm a skeptic for sure. But yeah, so skeptic, I would say like agnostic atheist kind of type thing. Yeah, agnostic, but lean towards the side of like not being convinced of any god or gods, but who knows, this could change. But we skeptical with it. We hold belief until we are provided sufficient evidence for something. But yeah, let's hop into it, man. Why am I an optimist? Let's get it. Okay, so the general like Oxford definition of optimism, I generally agree with. I think it's moving toward, you generally think the future holds good. You generally think like things are moving towards better. But I most identify with specifically rational optimism. The exact definition is the belief that things can and will improve based on realistic expectations and practical action. Yeah, I really like this. I identify with this most. Obviously, I reject like blind optimism. Like, if shit's not looking hot, it's best to just like not overestimate that situation and to just make the best move. It's gonna hurt people, like, which I still think is optimistic. Like, let's say you got a bad move on the chessboard, right? It'd make no sense to be like, oh man, I'm gonna turn this pawn into a queen miraculously, right? That's not gonna happen. Look at the board. You got to make the best move possible, right? And that's optimism. It'd be like, okay, I'm in a shit situation, but we can make the best move. So just go with that kind of that type of thing. It's a rational optimism. What's the best rational move I can make right now in my life? That's what's up. But before we get into everything, I do want to recognize something, that I am in a very privileged position, like even more than ever than I realize. Very comfy situation. Yeah. I'm a male in America. I don't know nothing about like third world suffering. I'm probably never going to experience that ever. I'm probably never going to experience like true suffering or anything like that. And I acknowledge that. Yeah, I realize my entitlement. I do, however, think that facing this future or trying to help the situation from like the first world perspective, the best thing and the most optimal mindset we can do is go into the future with hope and not give up on the evil atrocities that go on, or just the injustices and just the bad situations for people in very impoverished countries, or even in America itself. The best thing we can do is go into the future and solutions with hope. If we give up, then we're fine. Then it's over. Right when we give up, it's over. So I think tackling it with rational optimism is the best thing we can do. But let's get into it. Okay. The first reason I claim optimism, and again, this is subject to change, who knows, but the first reason is it's consistent with my behavior individually, at least, I can say. Every single day, I'm trying to learn new things for the future. I'm learning, and I learn new things specifically, honestly. The main motivation is to connect with other people, because if you can know as many interests as possible, then conversing with people is a lot easier and a lot better. And you're gonna, the more things you know, the more chances when you're talking with someone, you'll have like a common interest in something. I think the thing I'm lacking on is like board games. MFs love board games, where I don't know shit about board games, but I might dive into that. But I played a lot of different sports. I can usually bond with people over that type of stuff. Yeah, I don't know much about like watching sports and stuff, but like doing sports, like I can pretty much play any sport. I'm pretty athletic, so like that's how I bond with people. Anything with like religion or like theology, I can bond with people with that, but a lot of people ain't into that. If people into MBTI, I can talk with them about that, but that's kind of niche too. Music and stuff. So yeah, that's like the main motivation. Or that's why I claim it. So that's like one reason I'm looking into the future, why I claim that. Another like thing that I think is consistent with my behavior and optimism is just like health. Like I'm always trying to improve my health, try to keep like, a somewhat balanced diet, not just like go crazy. Always, movement, exercise. I do jujitsu. I haven't been in the gym in a minute, but I did the gym for like 3 years consistently, but we about to get back in soon, just taking a break. But yeah, I've always done like something active, and it's purely just for like longevity, staying active. Eventually, I think when I get back into the gym, I'm gonna focus on like longevity shit, like strengthening like your knees, your hips, like shit like that, flexibility. Things that'll help you like later in life, not just like packing on muscle and stuff and looking cool. So yeah, I feel all that's consistent with the optimistic mindset. What's another thing? Oh yeah, I'm always working on the social aspects of myself and behavioral dynamics to have the best relationship possible. Yeah, always, whatever I can do to mend situations, mend conflicts, mature, be able to maturely talk with like a future partner about like conflicts and situations. I'm gonna do it because that's only gonna help improve situations. That's only gonna make like a future relationship better. Yeah, educate myself. I like looking at like child development stuff, psychoanalytic behavior in general, to best understand any human being. The better I can understand a human being, the more we can connect, the deeper the relationship, the more fulfilling it's going to be. It's just a net positive. The better you can understand humans, I think the better your life will be, simply because you have to interact with people. And yeah, the more you can authentically get someone else's perspective, this is only going to be beneficial, in my opinion. I won't say that, it might not be, but it'll be greatly beneficial. So yeah, I would say all that. I'm thinking about my future. I'm always thinking about future. Always trying to improve the future, make it the best possible outcome, not only for myself, but for future family, for my future kids, future wife, future just people around me, future friends. Always looking towards that, and my actions reflect it, simply. And then last point, I want to get at this, like on the individual level and possibly like other people level, is just waking up every day, simply, and being motivated to do things. is it, so I guess the main question is like, is it not life affirming to wake up day after day? You know what I mean? Even if it's for bad reasons, are you still not affirming life to some degree? I don't know. That's the main question. Can a true pessimist wake up every morning? Can a true pessimist, what's the true manifestation of pessimism? I don't know. I'm not going to say who's wrong. I could be wrong. Someone else could be right. I'm not going to say who's wrong or right. We're just going to ask questions. But yeah, but this overall shows that I believe, at least on an individual level, that the future holds good to some degree, and things can be hopeful. Otherwise, why do any of these actions if you find yourself doing them too? All right. I would love to discuss with a pessimist slash nihilist, even though like the opposite of optimism isn't nihilism. I would say it's more like pessimism. Pessimism and optimism more deal with how do you see the future? Do you think the future holds relatively goodness, or do you think it relatively holds kind of not preferable, like kind of bad? That's kind of more, versus nihilism is dealing with actual like meaning of life. Do you think there's no inherent meaning? Pretty much. And so I think these are just two different categories altogether. So in a way, you could totally be like an optimistic nihilist. You could think there's no inherent meaning to anything, but that's kind of your motivation. You're like, oh, there's no meaning to anything, so I can go hard. Like, I got this one life, so I'm gonna go crazy. Like, I'm gonna do all my goals and help as many people as possible, or whatever, however you want to look at it. I feel like I kind of look at it like that. I mean, I've said a very similar sentence. I'm like, and I'm kind of in that. Like, I don't think there's, as of right now, I view it as like there's no inherent objecting meaning for our lives, but you can make it though, which is dope. Like, you can just make it whatever you find fascinating. Like, you can make that your meaning, which is super liberating. It's been very liberating since deconstructing from Christianity. I'm very glad I don't have an objective purpose anymore, which is dope. That's what I find. So I'm optimistic about that personally. I see very good and a bright future to the fact that like I can cultivate my reality, which is sick. So even though it's inherently might be kind of meaningless, my actions don't reflect it. I go about it like it has meaning. So therefore, I probably wouldn't be like an optimistic nihilist. Just optimist. I see pessimists slash nihilists who work out and stuff and who do good things, who are like cool people. Not even saying this is like a contradiction, but what does this mean? What do these actions mean? And this ideology, that's kind of the main question I want to get at. One example though that's very worrisome, I want to point out that I read about. There's this philosopher named Philip Mainlander. Hopefully I said that. He was a German philosopher. He was born October 5th, 1841. So, not too old. His central work, his like main thing he was known for was the philosophy of redemption. In this work, Mainlander proclaims that life is of negative value and, quote, the will ignited by the knowledge that non-being is better than being is the supreme principle of morality, end quote. And overall, he just adopts a very pessimistic framework, pretty much, to give a very brief introduction to him. Pretty interesting, though. But so that's his background. But unfortunately, on April 1st, 1876, Philip received a bunch of these books. He published it, and offers to get a bunch of books, got them at his doorstep. He stacked them up onto a tall pile. He stood on top of it, put a noose around his neck, and jumped off, and he killed himself just like that. And it's kind of the final exclamation point to the book, essentially. He kills himself after publishing the book. This has sparked a question, and people have been discussing this, but with this especially. It's like, oh man, is this the true manifestation of, a pessimistic kind of mindset? I read, I read that he had a great reputation. He led a democratic socialist movement that helped a lot of people out. He was very charitable generally, very much like a humanist. He did very like humanist type of actions, which is amazing, and that shouldn't just be like waved off because of his ideology. But on that day, he felt his duties were perhaps fulfilled, and he took his own life. My question is, I guess, is this consistent with his beliefs and behavior? I don't know. Was that ideology of his consistent with what he was doing in his life? Because he seemed to be a pretty stand-up dude. Yeah, that's just a question. What's the true manifestation of pessimism? And then getting to the last part, I guess just like an overall thing, I want to say, and again, this is from a very privileged position. I do recognize that, but hopefully I can throw up some statistics on the screen. Hopefully I'll put some stuff in the description. But I think an argument can be decently made that we live in the best times now, at least some of the best times. Things are actively moving in the right direction when it comes to general human well-being. We have the lowest violence, at least in America. I'm speaking mostly from like the American perspective. I'll go look at some other stats though. 90% there's 90% of the population has clean drinking water, which is a big improvement. Things like that. I'll probably throw up a bunch of stuff. But yeah, but there's still like, this shouldn't be like disregarded, or like the gas, or you shouldn't let your foot off the gas or anything. There's still a ton of work that needs to be done. There's still lots of the worst evil you can imagine happening. But is there any better way to head into the future other than with hope and kind of a more optimistic mindset behind it? Yeah, because as soon as you give up, then it's not getting better at all, kind of thing. So what better way to go into the future than with like some hope behind your actions and stuff? Can this get us to a truly like cohesive reality where like super heinous, like unnecessary evil is kind of done with? Or will it always exist to some degree? Most likely the latter, but we'll see. Shoot, we can only try. The moment we give up, it's over. So yeah, all we can do is try. And yeah, the best thing I can probably do in my position or in your position, most likely watching, is volunteering in your own city and where you live, and just making your community the best that you can, being optimistic for your own community and going in with hope like that. There's hungry people in my city where I live. There's people who need help in my city. There's volunteer work to be done. There's work to be done to help out. And maybe this sort of action of starting with just like your own community and helping out, maybe your own city or a local area, this is kind of the right direction we can take moving towards something, a statistic where 10,000 kids, die from starvation every single day. But maybe actions like this can help move us towards a direction where we can get that number down and down and down, where people don't have to starve to death, especially children, and by such a great quantity every single day. We can see, again, if we give up, it's over. But there's always hope if we don't give up on this sort of thing. If we give up, though, there is no hope. There is no hope. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. First video. Shoot, I'm sorry. I'm an INFP, so shoot, the videos are gonna be scattered. It's gonna be like a bunch of random thoughts. There's gonna be cuts. It's gonna be a mess, but we're gonna get through it. Um, Shoot, let's discuss in the comments. Love to discuss. That's like the main thing too with the videos. I want to like converse in the comments and stuff. I love the comments, you know. Um, but yeah, why do you do life affirming actions is pretty much the main thing. Why do any life affirming actions at all? And why do you do it? But thank you, y'all. Stay safe. Love y'all. Peace out.